If you find goal setting tedious, this snippet is just for you. We're going to look at goal setting through the lens of a mindset shift. It goes beyond committing to working hard. You have to make small incremental changes to move the needle. When you listen to this episode, ask yourself, what adds energy and fulfillment to my life? Are my current habits fueling me to achieve what I want to achieve? What habits would I like to develop? And how can I take small steps now to get there? Listen in as Dan and I discuss.
So when we think about our goals, income is important to all of us. And we have our reasons, right, Kiley, of why we want to make that income. But what we also do here is we talk about 4 other categories, 4 different paths. We talk about health, we talk about mindfulness, learning, and then do what needs to be done, take action. So our goals aren't always just, hey, I want to sell $250K more, or I want to have $1 million book of business, or I need 10 clients and I better start prospecting and reaching out to 25 people per week. It's much more than that. There's so many things that you can be doing that can help drive you toward whatever that ultimate goal is. And on paper, you may not think there's a direct correlation, but as we've experienced here, health, mindfulness, learning, and do what needs to be done, they always have an immediate or direct correlation with whatever your ultimate goals are for that year.
And one caveat that we may include here is that the 4 buckets that Dan just pointed out may not be the same for you.
They may not be, but I think Kiley's and my approach today will be to get you to think about them and hopefully maybe consider some of them, because they will start to drive you toward over those ultimate goals. 1 unit of effort does not equate to 1 unit of results. And that's where people start to feel dejected, because they work hard on that 1 unit of effort to do something new because it's in line with what they want to accomplish as a goal. But when they do whatever that is that's new, and maybe it's not as successful as they'd like the first time, they don't get that unit of result that they want, then they start questioning right away, well, is this what I should be really doing? Because it didn't work the first time.
That goes back to human behavior. That's neuroscience, right? We're not getting our dopamine hits, which comes from our reward center. So our brain is saying this is not worth our time.
Yeah, we're not getting that immediate gratification.
Exactly.
Right? You make 10 phone calls because your pipeline is low, and you talk to 4 people and you set 2 appointments, you're going to get immediate gratification. Quite frankly, that's one hell of an hour spent to get that kind of result. Versus what the reality is though, right? You might need to reach out to 100 prospects to get 2 or 3 to engage, and you might set 1 or 2 of those appointments. That's a lot of effort. Those are a lot of units invested to get maybe 1-2 units of results.
So really, what we always try to focus on is the process, because we know the process will eventually get you the results that you're looking for.
You have to stick to it. And like we always talk about, transformation, it's not a destination. It's not an event. It's a continuum. It's a journey. So looking at 2022 is every week, every month, it's part of the continuum. It's part of the journey. So why don't we get into the first one?
So the first path here is health. Talk to me about that one, Dan.
We've done a lot of this and here on our team. And this has helped all of us with our energy, our cognitive focus, our ability to put in. So this is about creating an optimal level of performance for yourself, and we call it health. So I'll read through them and we can kind of go through, a few of them. The first one is work out 3 times a week. You don't have to work out every single day. Work out 3 times a week. Just start there. Maybe one is a run, another is yoga. Maybe you do stretching, maybe a HIIT class or some weights. But just try to get into a groove of maybe just 3 times a week. You don't have to come out of the gate and be Lance Armstrong or Greg LeMond or some incredible endurance athlete.
Well, and even if 3 times a week seems like a lot, take a baby step. Go for a walk. once a week. Maybe you have to start there, because the worst feeling is failure. And if you're not setting realistic goals, why would you go from 0 to 3 when 0 is happening right now? So maybe it's 1.
Could be. Just stick to the 1 and build from there. Completely agree. But at least you're moving. You're moving in that new direction. Change your routine, no matter how small, you'll start to change the circumstances and situations that you experience around you by just changing one routine, adding one routine. I'm going to get into a little bit of a different one here that I know we've all found very helpful and incredibly important. And for our listeners, it's going to seem odd, but very powerful. The food you put in your body drives your sleep, drives your REM, drives your deep sleep, which drives your recovery, your energy, your ability to perform at a high cognitive level, your ability to be creative in your business. So we're not Ronaldo, the famous soccer player, Tom Brady, the famous quarterback, or
LeBron James,
the basketball player. They all spend, well documented, into 7 figures a year on their food, on their intake, on their health, optimal physical performance. It's not that much different mentally. You and I talk about it all the time. Your brain's a muscle. So we're big fans of do something that measures your body's recovery process so you can start figuring out as a potential high performer in sales what's going to work for you.
Yeah, and the data really helps. It puts a little bit more concrete information behind some of the gut feelings that you may be feeling throughout the day. You feel like, oh man, I just don't have energy today. Well, it's because you didn't recover. So you really shouldn't push your body today. Maybe you should take a rest day.
It's funny. I'll share this with the listeners too, and you already know this. Because of the Whoop, I'm very focused on limiting the alcohol, and I'm also very focused on the food I eat now, and I'm in bed by 9:15, 9:30, 9:45, and I read, because what I've noticed is if I get to bed early like that and I read for a half an hour and there's no TV, there's no phone, there's no nothing, my REM doubles. My recovery doubles. And that's the cool thing about these new devices now, is that we can tell what works for our body and our mind as individuals.
Well, and going back to the neuroscience behind what's going on, the structured sleep schedule is really, really good for you in increasing your serotonin levels. Serotonin is the happy neurochemical that makes you happy over a long period of time. So if you go to bed at the same time and you wake up at the same time consistently, you are more happy.
So Kylie and I are not promoting everybody become a robot and stop enjoying life. That's not what this is. It's more about integrating some very strong, healthy habits, but also allowing yourself those days, those moments, those meals, whatever it might be, where you let go and you enjoy what you want to enjoy.
This has been a Breaking Sales snippet. To hear the rest of the conversation, check out Breaking Sales episode 54, 4 Paths to Transform Your Year, which is linked in the show notes. Be sure to subscribe so you're the first to know when a new episode drops.